Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I will never, never, ever go back anymore, anymore. Oh, I want to just bless God again for another day. I want to bless God for another day. I want to bless Him for His faithfulness upon our lives. We just, can explain how good God has been to us, how faithful He has been to us. He been a great God. He been a loving God. He been so awesome. And I keep saying, words alone cannot just express that, man. Just can't express that. So what else can we do? What else can we say for who God is and what He's doing in our lives? We are just grateful. And I bless God for every one of you too, for, being a part of our ministry. Every time you guys are following us, every time you guys are supporting this ministry, we know we don't take it lightly. We bless God for what you're doing. And we appreciate your consistency. We appreciate you being a part of this work, to carry on this gospel. That's what we stand for. So I really, really appreciate that. Just for the sake of time, again, I want to take one more time and just go through the song that says, I want to remember what the Lord has done in my life. I don't want to go back again to things that won't make God happy. I don't want to go back again to things that would displease God. I don't want to go back. Is that what we're thinking about in this fight of faith? To stand up for what God says about us, what God expects of us. We got to fight this good fight of faith. I mean, to all believers out there in the world, we ought to stand up and fight this good fight of faith. And not start going back every time and keep breaking rank. We keep breaking rank. We keep breaking rank. We are army. We are soldiers of the cross. We are called to keep marching forward. Marching forward. Even there are times we fall. They are like, get up and keep marching forward. There's no time to waste. There's no time to delay. We are on this battle, on this field. Let's march forward because Christ is the one leading this army. I want to play this one more time, and we just get back in there.
Amen. Never going back.
Yeah, one more time.
When I remember what the Lord has I will never go back anymore. When I remember what the Lord has I will never go back. Looking back over my life, and I see how far God's brought me, so I'll never go back anymore. Been discouraged along the way, but He's been faithful, so I'll never go back anymore. I will never go back anymore. will never go back anymore.
Amen, 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 amen. I will never go back anymore. Never go back anymore. Man, what a way to open up this broadcast, man, to remind ourselves, to reflect and on what God says about us, what God expects of us. How can we go back after all He has done in our lives? He's been faithful. He been so true to us. He been there all the time, through good times and through bad times, through sickness and through health. Whether we are rich or we poor, God has been there for us, and we know it. We know it. There were others who have done the same thing we carried on. They couldn't make it. There were others who passed through the same fire we're passing through. They did not make it. There were others who didn't survive what we survived. It's all because, and we know and we understand, it's because of God. How can we go back and displeases God by the things we do, the things we say, the ways we behave? How can we go back? We talk about being grateful. It's what God expects for us. It's what He expects of us. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. As we've been talking about faith and faith and faith and faith and faith for this whole month, coming to the end of it now, I want us all to be very conscious that this faith we're talking about is not just limited to what we can receive from God, to what we believe in God for when it comes to doing things in our lives. Faith is also referring to us standing up for what our commanding officer has said about us, or what he has instructed us to do. Standing up for that. That's what I want to talk about this morning. Again, Pastor David, I want to take this time to welcome everyone to our first online service. The second one will be coming up at 6:30 this evening. But I want to welcome you all for being a part. Welcome you all for sharing, having a watch party. And let's do this together. I know sometimes we get so busy with our lives, but we'll take out an inch of our life to just spend a time with God, to just spend a moment refreshing ourselves, reviving ourselves, giving us more energy into the Word. It won't hurt us. It won't hurt us. It's about time for everyone who have pledged allegiance to the Lamb. It's about time that we make up our mind. Are we soldiers of the cross, or are we civilian? Are we citizens of heaven? Are we ambassadors representing God in His Word, or are we representing the world? Who are we? It's time to draw a distinction. What the songwriter says, stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Fight the good fight of faith. There's no time to turn back. There's no time for complaining. There's no time for wavering back and forth. It's time for the good soldier of the cross to stand up and fight this good fight of faith. And this goes to every single one of us who have pledged allegiance to the Lamb. We have pledged allegiance to the Lamb. We have declared that the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, is the Lord of our life. We have pledged our life. We have surrendered everything over to him because he's the one who ransomed us. When we're locked and we're down and we're in darkness and struggling and suffering and had no way out, heading for destruction in eternity, he was just one that went and saved us. He went to the cross and paid the price to redeem us. And today we can brag and boast of this redemption, that we are sons of God. If we are the sons of God, and have realized what he has done in our life, what he has done for us, the things he went through, the shame, the embarrassment, the pain, the suffering he went through, what more can he ask of us? All he said to us, fight the good fight. If I didn't give up on the cross, I saw that what was before me. I saw the pain, I saw the suffering, I saw the humiliation. I saw the embarrassment. I knew my disciples said stuff. They were so disheartened that the one who had been leading them was now going down the drain to nothing. I knew how people saw me, who was around preaching to people, healing the sick, raising the dead, opening out of the blind. I knew what people were going to say when they saw me parading in the street of Jerusalem, half naked. I knew the shame. I felt it. I felt it. It's what Christ said. I felt the pain. I felt the embarrassment. I felt the shame. But I went through it. Why? It's not because of me. I didn't do no wrong. I didn't commit any sin. But I was being crucified for hours for you people, for us. He was being crucified for us. He died for us. That we may have a better life. That we may be saved. He died for us. What else can we render to God? In gratitude, in appreciation for what he has done in our lives. What can we render to God? Every time we're all about, he keep giving to us. Yes, he did it for us already. He gave us his life. What else do we expect of God? What can we give for God in return? This is the question he's asking us. What can you give me in return? After all I have done for you, who I have made you to become, who you are right now, what can you then surrender to me and say, all I'm asking of you is your life. I don't need you dying on the cross. I don't need you going to do any funny stuff. You say, I need you to fight the good fight of faith. And someone asked me, what do you mean by this? And you asked the right question. Because you came to the right place. To know what it means to fight a good fight of faith. And when you grab ownership of this thing, let's do it. We are in this together. Let's do it. You are my brother. You are my sister. We are soldiers of the cross. Let's lift each other up. Let's stand by each other. Let's run this race that have been set before us, because we have cloud of witnesses that are looking and watching. What can they do in their time? As this war is drawing to an end, what can the church do to reflect who God is in us? Fight the good fight of faith. Ye soldiers of the cross. Lift up his royal banner. It must not suffer loss. Lift up that royal banner. Lift up this gospel. Lift up this truth, not just in words, but also in deeds, in our action. Lift up this banner. Let this light shine. Let our light be salt to those around us. It must not suffer loss. Don't drop this banner because of pain. Don't drop this banner because we want to fit in. Don't drop this banner because people want to talk stuff about us. Don't drop this banner because God is looking up to us to run this race with perseverance. Looking up to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Don't throw down the towel. Don't give up. Don't give up. Stand up. I need you as much as you need me. Together, we can run this Christian race and win every battle that's ahead of us if only we can stand up for what we believe. If only we can stand up for what we believe. And just imagining, I'm trying to, take a little road down or memory lane, trying to go back in time. I imagine Jesus, and this is why he said in the book of Luke, when you're about to pray just before his death, this is what Jesus said. Father, if this is possible, can you please take this cup away from me? Can you please take this cup away from me? He wasn't talking about a physical cup. He never had any cup in his hand. He never had any bowl in his hand. No, he was talking about the suffering that was about to be poured on him. He said, if it is possible, take it away from me. Take it away from me. Take it away from me. If it is possible. But please, no matter how I'm feeling this pain and know what's about to happen to me and how my friends are going to neglect me and people I trust are going to turn their back on me and stab me in the back. People I rely on going to give up on me and run away from me and abandon me. Of all I know, that's why I'm asking if there's a way out. If there's a way out, can you take this away from me? My Father, my God, is what Christ was saying. Can you take this cup away from me? But he came on saying, yet, as much as I know what I'm going through, as much as I know what I'm about to face, he said, yet, it's not my will. It's not what I want. It's not what I think. It's not what I support it should be. It's not what I think people say it should be. But not my will. Let your will be done. God, it is all about you. Let your will be done. Even the Lord's Prayer, that we call it Lord's Prayer, just talking to the disciples. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Your will be done as it is in heaven. Your will. And can you imagine? Christ came to do the will of God. And what was the will of God for his life? That he will lay down his life and pay the price for sin, go through the shame and the embarrassment and the death penalty, go through a crime, pay for a crime that he did not commit. The songwriter says, he paid a debt he did not owe. I owe a debt I could not pay when I needed someone, to wash my sins away. Now I can sing a brand new song, Amazing Grace. Christ Jesus paid the debt that I could never pay. He paid that debt. Have you all forgotten what was written in scripture when Pontius Pilate encountered Jesus? When the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes and these Jewish leaders, when they thought it wise to lie and fabricate stories to make sure this guy died. When they arrested Christ, his own friend Judas, who he selected and chose as an apostle. Judas, he chose Judas as one of the 12. They were together for 3 years. This same Judas went about to betray Jesus And Jesus knew it. He said at the Last Supper, he knew it. He said, look, the one who have been sent, he said, go and do what you have to do quickly. Because that's why I came. As much as it's painful, as much as it's hurting, as much as I look in the eyes of Judas, I see Judas every day. We talk, we eat, we laugh, but Judas, I know you're going to betray me. Yet still I call you my friend and my brother. I show you love every day. I even selected to be one of the person that will hold our finances. You was our treasurer. Judas, I chose you. You didn't choose me. I called you. Yet still he knew that one day down the line, Judas will betray him. Judas will betray him. You think they didn't know? You think they had the feelings of going back and just cut Judas off? And you know what? You are not a disciple. I don't want him in our group no more because you have a wicked heart in you. No. Christ knew this thing, but yet still he embraced Judas. It could have been some of us today. Judas would have been a dead person. Judas would have been ostracized. But the Bible said, for the joy that was set before him, he knew that what was meant for evil was turning around for our good. So Christ said, if I just gave up on the fact that this guy will be the one to betray me and I know it and want to shut his life down, man, many people will lose their life. Many will be heading for eternity in hell for the rest of their life. And I cannot allow this little feelings of Judas betrayal, this little feeling of what you're going to do to me. I'm not going to allow it to shut down God's purpose for my life. So therefore, I will take the risk. And Jesus saw Judas, Jesus selected Judas, Jesus chose Judas, knowing the fact that one day Judas would betray him. He still chose to follow and do the will of the one who sent him. And can you imagine? Even when Christ took 3 of his disciples with him, Peter, James, and John, he needed support. He needed people to stand by him. Why this guy was praying right about the time of his death. Not that he didn't want his disciples. He told them, the time of my departure is around. My soul is so heavy. My spirit is so heavy because I know I'm about to go through. Can you guys just stand with me for just an hour? When he came back, those guys were sleeping. Man, do you know how he felt? Do you know what he was going through when he needed someone and there was nobody to stand with him? But yet still, he was fighting the good fight of faith because there was something that was set before him that was going to be redemption to the world. He said, I will choose to do the greater call than just this surpassing pain. He came by the first time, his disciples sleeping. Yeah, it's Peter, James, and John, they're snoring. Oh my God, he saw them sleeping. He said, man, can you guys just tarry with me for just a moment? Please, this is the time I need you guys. I'm about to go through the worst of all pain. I'm about to go through the worst of things in life that no man have ever experienced before. All I need from you, Peter, all I need from you, James and John, I need you guys to just stand by me. He warned them again. He went back. He came back. They were sleeping. Man, he was all alone. He was all alone. He was all alone. What did he say? Did he went about cursing out Peter, James, and John? And then you guys are so ungrateful when you guys right now? No. He came back again. He talked to them. I'm begging you. Can you guys just stay with me for just a moment? I was saying, went back to pray. And when he came back again, they were sleeping. They were sleeping. Well, he said, if no one chooses to follow, if no one chooses to support me, if no one chooses to stand by me, even in a time of my dying need, I will still hold on. Because once God is with me, that's all matters. Once God is with me, that's all matters. And Christ said, Father, they may be sleeping. They don't know what I'm about to go through right now. Even though I told them, I'm feeling the pain right now. When I look ahead of me, just few moments from now, Lord, I know how this guy going to arrest me. I'm going to look in the eyes of my very cool friend Judas, the one I trusted, the one I loved, the one I chose as my BFF. I'm going to look in the eyes of him and see how I'm going to give you a case to sell me to people for crime I never committed. This guy who spent 3 years with me, I'm going to look in his eyes face to face. He's going to betray me. I'm seeing these things, Lord. I'm seeing these things. How my disciples who said they will stand by me, right now I'm seeing them sleeping. I know they're going to run away from me, and I'm going to be left in the hands of the uncircumcised people. I know how they're going to treat me. I know the pain I'm about to go through. I know. And why am I going through all this thing, Lord? It's not because of me. I did no wrong. I'm doing it for them. Yet still, they don't see these things. But he said, not my will, but let your will be done. Not my will, but let your will be done. Not my will, but let your will be done. He was fighting the good fight of faith. Not my will, but let your will be done. He was fighting the good fight of faith. When he came back to the disciples, he woke them up. And a few seconds later, they were all surrounded by bunch of soldiers. They were surrounded by a bunch of soldiers. They were surrounded by his own Jewish people, mixed up with the Roman soldiers. They brought in soldiers holding clubs and swords and spears and knife and shield and helmet, coming to arrest Jesus. Am I a criminal? Am I a robber? What have I done wrong? You guys keep me with all these soldiers. Then above all else, man, above all else, Judas came up the crowd because they didn't even know who Christ was. Those soldiers, they had no idea who Christ was. They came up to Christ. Judas came to him, hugged Jesus, gave him a hug. And not just a hug, but put a kiss on his cheek. Because Judas told them, the one that our kiss, he's the one. Judas, look in the eyes of Jesus, the one who came to save the world. He looked in the eyes of Jesus and gave him a hug and a kiss and stepped back. Imagine Jesus looking in his eyes. Is that what friends for? Is that what friends can do? That's why he said, do not trust in the arm of flesh. The arm of flesh will fail you. Sometimes, how many times husbands and wives have not destroyed each other? How many times parents and children have not betrayed each other? How many times friends have not betrayed one another? How many times your loved ones have not betrayed you? How many times your finances, your job, your career, your education have not betrayed you? How many times? The arm of flesh will fear you. God, through his son, experienced it when he looked in the eyes of Judas. And Judas betrayed him with a case. For how much? 30 pieces of silver. How much will it last you for, Judas? How much will it last you for? How long? How long? You are selling, you are betraying the Son of God for 30 pieces of silver. And you know the story at the end of the day. He was so guilty. He felt so condemned. He felt so nasty about himself. He went around and took the money back to them. I have done wrong. I have done wrong. Oh my God, I have done wrong. How many times have some of us not realized that what we are doing is not what God expects of us? But yet and still, we keep doing it. How many times? We keep doing it. How many times? We know it's not the right thing to do. We know it's not the right thing to say. We know it's not the right way to behave. We keep doing it. Knowing the fact, it will bring remorse. It will bring shame. It will bring embarrassment. It will bring disgrace. We keep doing it because we refuse to fight the good fight of faith. Jesus never insulted Judas. And apart from Judas did what he could have to do betrayed Christ, cased him, stepped back. They arrested Jesus. His disciples came out there. Can you imagine? Peter took a sword. I don't know where in the world he got sword from. I know Peter's a fisherman. I don't know how he got sword with him. Peter pulled out a sword and cut out one of the soldiers, the one in the seventh ear. While this guy was bleeding with his ear being chopped off, Jesus Christ being arrested, he bent down, took off that ear, lifted up with blood in his hands, and placed the ear back on this guy who came to arrest him, and placed it back, and this guy got healed. But yet and still, this guy was out there pulling out Christ's garment and cloak to drag him to the hands of the high priest. But Jesus was healing him. Do we understand what it means to fight the good fight of faith? Do we think it's just about us getting money from God, miracle money, whatever it is we call it, receiving blessing from God and getting married and want to get out of marriage and want to born children and want to get healed and want to do this? Do you think it's what faith is all about? Do you think it's what it's all about? What would you do? What can you do when everyone around you doing contrary? Can you stand up for the truth? Can you stand up and your life be a reflection of what you believe? That's the good fight of faith. That's the good fight of faith. Fight! Fight that fight of faith. The world may be against you. Your friend will be against you. Your family be against you. In-laws, relatives, loved ones, children. But fight this good fight of faith. Hold your ground. Don't give up. Jesus turned around and saw all his disciples running away. Man, imagine our feelings, man. Imagine our feelings. People abandoning you. People you rely on, you trusted, you have confidence in. They turn their back on you in a twinkle of an eye when you're in the desperate need for them. When you really need them, they turn their back on you. Man, a few months ago, I was performing miracles and people were cheering me up. People bringing the sick and the dead and other stuff. Miracle disciples so excited. Oh, we have a follower. We have a man we following. He's doing all this stuff. They were so excited. Oh, yes, this is our master, is our Lord. Now, when good time is there, everything's going fine. When I turned water into wine, everything was fine. But having miracles, everything was fine. Healing the sick, raising the dead, feeding 5,000 with a few loaves of bread, everything was fine. 4,000, everything was fine. You guys having a lasso with me, everything was fine. Now I'm in trouble. Now I'm in trouble. And no one can stand by me. The Bible said he also felt our pain. Do you think God is not aware of what we're going through? He's aware. But he said, I've been through the same thing. If it didn't break me, it won't break you. If it didn't destroy me, it won't destroy you. You saw my life. People I trusted abandoned me. People I rely upon, they turn their back on me. But in the midst of this thing, I sat alone with these high priests, with these Sadducees and Pharisees. They orchestrated all the plans against my life. They create all these lies and scandals. It could not even fit. But yet instead they try all they could to present me to the Gentiles, to kill me. Even though they knew I have done nothing wrong. All because I spoke the truth. The whole night, they beat on me. They spit in my face. They laugh at me. They play games at me. They mock me. The whole night. Where were my disciples? They were all gone. The next morning, where were my disciples? They were all gone. They led me and carried me to Pontius Pilate. And can you imagine Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor at the time. When you look into the matter, this guy himself said, I find no fault on this man. Why are you guys telling me I should give this guy a capital punishment of crucifixion, that painful death? What has he done? And all they could say, we don't care for Pilate. If you don't do this thing for us, man, we will tell Caesar you are no friend of his. We will tell Caesar you're not supporting his mission in Israel. They try to do all kind of stuff to terrorize Pontius Pilate. Even Pilate wife had a dream. The woman came that morning telling Pilate, I beg you, please, do not put your hands in the death of this innocent man. This man is innocent. The woman told her husband, but he said, I know, wifey, I understand, wifey, but I myself, I can't fathom what is going on. Why can people be so wicked? Because somebody standing the truth. Why people so evil? When you tell them to do the right thing, they get so mad with you. All because you tell them to do the right thing. They're so angry. Jesus Christ never hurt anyone. He never betrayed anyone. All he was telling them the truth. And they were refusing to hear the truth. All they asked for, he should die because he was speaking the truth. He was frustrated. How many times Pilate begged it? How many times Pontius Pilate begged it? I'm begging you people. Please. I'm begging you people. Can you guys please? Let me present to you guys a guy who have committed murder. For this guy, he's supposed to die. He deserves death. Can I present this guy and crucify this guy for your own pleasure? They said, no. Release all that murderer and kill this innocent man. Do you know how Jesus felt? Standing before people, he tried to save. And all could hear from the crowd that morning, you could hear the large noise. Crucify him. Crucify him. Crucify him. He looked down at people he came to save. He looked down at people. He was going to the cross for to go through the shame for them and the pain for them, that God was punishing him on their behalf. But all he could hear from the crowd, crucify him. And when he looked around, he could not find his sister. He could not find his brother. He could not find his mother. He could not find his disciples. He could not find people he had healed. He couldn't find anyone in the crowd. All you're seeing are people who, my God, they were just there. Crucify him. We don't care what he have done. We don't care who he is. All we know, this guy should die. Pontius Pilate begged them. Pontius Pilate begged them. Can you imagine? Even a Gentile ruler, an unbeliever, he could identify the truth that this man was saying. He begged them, please, let's find somebody else to die, not this innocent man. But Pilate too, an unbeliever, even though he recognized the truth, but didn't really understand the truth, Pilate was concerned about his career. He was concerned about his position. So he said, you know what? Go ahead. You do what I want to do. You all do with him. But now the Pilate wash his hands. He said, my hands is not in this thing. I'm out. You can handle it. Say, yes. Let his blood be on us and our children. Is what he said. Let his blood be on us and our children. Can you see how evil people are? Do you think things have changed nowadays? When you're telling people the truth of what God expects of us, we act like the Jewish people. We act like other people. We like, no, we will not accept this. We will not do this. We will stand for what we want to do. Like crucify what Christ have done. Crucify whatever it is, but I will not crucify my flesh. But yet they will say, we are followers of Jesus Christ. I don't know, the past 2 days, things have been weighing down in my spirit. When God keep asking me, are you truly my disciple? He asked Peter, do you really love me? Do you really love me, Peter? You know, just imagine They took this guy in place of a murderer, Barabbas, who murdered people, who caused a rebellion. They set him free in place of a man who committed no crime, Jesus. They took this guy, Jesus, they turned him over to the Roman army, and these people brutalized this man. They beat Christ so mercilessly to the fact that he was disfigured. That's why Isaiah said his appearance was so marred, it was beyond human recognition. Is what the hands of the Romans did to Jesus. What did he do wrong? Ask yourself, what did he do wrong? Nothing. He was dying to set us free, paying a price that honor no man who have paid. But he was dying that painful death. They beat him, drained blood out of him. Do you know what it means to fall into the hands of a Roman soldier and knowing the fact that you are being declared to have a capital punishment of crucifixion, that painful death? They didn't just go to the cross. They started earlier that morning. They brutalized Christ. They beat him so mercilessly. They disfigure his body. They whip him with their whips and with their cloth and their armor, everything. They beat this guy in their barracks. Then they led him outside to walk down the streets of Jerusalem before the people who had him in high esteem, who respected him. They walk him down that street, half naked, bearing a wooden cross, with all the fact that life had been drained out of this man. Blood was drained out of him. He was already helpless. He was already tired. He was already weak for a crime he never committed. Yet so they took a wooden cross and placed it on his shoulders and said, you should carry it. His own cross, he will be crucified on. They said, you carry your cross. Have you forgotten what Christ said? If you are truly my disciple, you will pick up a cross and follow me. What is the cross you're bearing today? What is the cross you are bearing today? Is it your family member? Is it your friend? Is it your in-law? Is it your relatives? Is it your co-worker? Is it your husband or your wife? What is the cross you are bearing today that you feel you can handle? Imagine if Jesus have told the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes and the Sanhedrin and Pontius Pilate, I deny everything I said because of this pain I'm in. No, I changed my mind. I'm not God's son no more. It will be another time. Imagine what we're being today. I'm talking for us Christians. Imagine what we're being today. If Christ have seen this pain and rejected it, what we are being today? What must I say? He was paraded through the street of Jerusalem. Men, women, and children were watching this guy in the pain. And not a single person could lift up a helping hand to assist this Jesus that healed them, this Jesus that delivered them, this Jesus that fed them, this Jesus that brought truth to them, this Jesus that was doing all he can to support them. Nobody could lift up a hand to help him. All they're doing, just walking by and they're cheering as this man went through the pain and suffering. But yet still, what did he say? He didn't curse them. He didn't insult them. There was no curse or insult found in his mouth. Because there was something he was looking up to. The joy that was before him after all this pain. What is before me? That's why I'm keeping me up. There was a woman that was crying. He said, don't weep for me. Weep for yourself and your children. I came to save you people, to gather you out of cheek. But you guys refused me. You rejected me. You guys turned me over to the Romans. See what you have done to me. That's why you're saying you go in the garden. If it is possible, let this cup pass. See what you people have done to me. See what you people have done to me. My own people have betrayed me. See what you have done to me. See what you have done to me. For what purpose? What wrong have I done? To tell you the truth is what you're so mad about. To tell you to do the right thing when your Lord tell you that, oh, love those who love you, hate who hate. I think, oh, love everyone. What wrong have I done by telling the truth? Now here I am, going through all this pain. My bones are broken. I'm out of shape. I don't even know how to walk, but I'm carrying this wooden cross, and no one can even help me. You people sitting there crying. I don't need cries. I don't need tears. I need help. I need someone to help me. But not a single person, not a single Jewish person in that crowd could lift up their hands to help Jesus. Who came in? It was a foreigner or Gentile. I will call the guy Joseph of Arimathea. Later on, another guy talk about a guy, or I think some guy from Cyrene. I just can't remember the name right now. Outside of Israel. This guy who went. Seeing the Roman faces and how they look like, but he got saw the pain this man was going through. He went there. What are you guys going to beat on me? Fine. He went there and took a cross from Christ to help him. Do you think you're the only person that's going through pain? The pain of rejection, the pain of betrayal, the pain of people lying on your name, the pain of people don't want to support you, even though you stand to do the right thing. People still can't appreciate you. Do you think we're the only person that's going through these things? Jesus went through these things. He went through the same thing just like us. So he didn't just come and get a pass. He went through it. He didn't skip it. He went through it. And guess what? Of all he went through, those guys took this man to the cross. At Golgotha. This man already helpless. They took him stretching high and wide to the cross and nailed this man, his hands and his feet. Nailed him to the cross and then raised. Oh man, imagine the pain he was going through. How much pain are we facing today? Because somebody don't like us, we're so angry. Because somebody didn't speak to us, we're so angry. Because somebody went and lied our name, we're so angry. Because somebody stabbed us in the back, we're so angry. How much pain are we going through? To deny this faith. Is it unto death? You say you haven't experienced anything about death? I experienced it. I died. Went through the pain. They nailed me to the cross. I was helpless. They stood me up on a pole for hours. I was even begging for water to drink. For crime I never committed. People call it stories. Now, is some stories, you call that stories? The one who came to save your life, you call it a story? Somebody went through the pain. It was not your pastor. It was not your mother or father, not your brother or sister or husband or wife. It was the Son of God. And he accepted it for you and myself. On the cross, he begged for water. The one that turned water into wine, he was begging for water to drink. The one that healed the sick and raised the dead, he was begging. He was begging. This man was on the cross, begging people, begging them, can I have some, just a little dip of, can I please have some water to drink? Please. He begged them. He begged them. This innocent man was dying on a cross, or dying a shameful and painful death. He was begging them, please, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. And no one could even help him, even on the cross. But then the soldiers turned around and brought in vinegar. Can you imagine vinegar, how sour it is? They brought in vinegar. He's asking for water, and I knew they had water there, but they gave him vinegar, that sour drink, for him. What are we really going through in life that want to turn our back on what God has called us to do? What are we really going through in comparison to what Jesus went through on our behalf? What are we really going through? What are we going through? To tell someone to walk in love, is it a crime? To tell people to be merciful, is it a crime? To tell people to forgive one another, is it a crime? What are we going through? Here he's still on the cross of the rejection and the pain and the shame and embarrassment. His mother looking up to him on the cross. This man is dying, this painful death, and no one could help. He's begging for water. The Son of God begging for water. And they gave him vinegar. Yet he looked down at the Roman soldiers, his disciples, followers, and the Jewish people. He said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. What are we going through? That would make things to be so big. We make things to be, we just over exaggerate things because of our feelings, our emotions. What are we really going through compared to what the Son of Man went through on our behalf? What are we going through? So you call me your disciple, or you call me your master, and you don't do what I want you to do, and you calling me your master, and you say you're my disciple. You see, if you're truly my disciple, you will deny yourself. Are you hearing that? You will deny yourself. Deny yourself means deny your feelings, your emotion, your pain, whatever it is. You deny yourself. Pick up your cross. That cross you don't want to pick up, pick it up and follow me. Pick it up and follow me. Pick it up and follow me. What are we going through that we think is so difficult? What are we going through? Think. I want to end this broadcast right here and want you to sit down and think. Are you fighting this good fight of faith? And this evening, I want to go in detail as we read these verses and see what God is saying to us and what He expects of us. Are we fighting this good fight of faith? Are we truly followers of Jesus Christ? Are we truly His disciples? He said, if you want to enjoy this glory, see what I did to enjoy this glory. I went through the shame. I went through the cross. I went through the embarrassment. I felt the isolation. I felt the depression. I felt the anxiety. I felt the betrayal. I felt the setback. I felt the pain. I felt the how people deliberately refuse to appreciate you. He said, I felt this pain. I felt it. But there was a joy that was set before me. So I endure it. Today I'm here being glorified. So you want to enjoy my glory? And you don't want to go through the suffering? You want to enjoy my glory and don't want to go through the suffering? You're wasting your time. We'll read that today during the evening service from the picture he gave when he talked about in a house there are many vessels. You want to go through, you want to enjoy the glory of God. You want to enjoy the glory of God. We want to enjoy the glory of God, but we're refusing to go through the suffering. It doesn't work. You need to enjoy my glory, you must go through my suffering. And while you're suffering, pick up a cross. Whatever it is that is weighing you down, whatever it is that's a thorn in your flesh. There were times Paul asked, he said, Lord, I'm begging you, can you take this thorn from my flesh? He said, no, because this thorn is meant to raise you up. This thorn is meant to bring forth my glory. Go through it. Let it juke you. Let it juke you. Let it juke you. Go through it. Because, you see, faith goes through perseverance. When you persevere, you will lack nothing good. Because that perseverance is what strengthens you to be who God wants you to be. Take on your cross and follow him. And be the light of the world. That's the good fight of faith. Join us this evening at 6:30 as I go back to give you scriptures and references into what God expects of us as we fight this good fight of faith. I love you guys so much, but know for certain, God loves you the best. Shalom, peace. To all our brothers out there in the diaspora, we say happy Independence Day. God bless you.